Hello friends, welcome back to Happy Young Readers. In this video, you're going to have a look at list of Indian magazines for teenagers and children's reading article from the Happy Young Readers website. So if you haven't read this article already at happyyoungreaders.com, I will be quickly going through this article for you. So if you're looking for Indian children's magazines, then this article will give you a list of various magazines for elementary kids, middle graders, and higher graders in India. Additionally, you will get few international magazine names in this article. I have also listed various topics and activities related to children's magazines. So here you will get the table of contents. What is it that makes children's magazines different from other magazines? So, children's magazines have colorful pictures and illustrations, short stories, comic strips, riddles, puzzles, jokes, fun facts, topical information, current news in brief, scientific facts, and short biographies of famous personalities. And there is so much more in children's magazines. Additionally, children's magazine content covers science, earth, environment, animal life, sports, psychology, health and wellness, computers, general knowledge. So, all these content areas, topics can be there in children's magazines too. Now, children's magazines are very useful, interesting, entertaining, informative because they are made specially for the children audience. So they capture the attention of the young readers, and children are excited to read children's magazine. They get attracted to the children's magazines. So let's go directly to the list of children's magazines for kids and teenagers. And if at all you want to Google further about every of this magazine title from the list, then you can just Google the name of the magazine and subscription plus subscription, or name of the magazine plus publisher. So you will get the required details. So, children's magazine for age group 6 to 9 years old. I'll quickly go through the list. The Children's Magazine, Children's Digest India, Little Primary Plus for Nursery and LKG, Magic Pot, Tinkle, Children's World, IntelliJelly, Kids Age, Moco Mag, Primary Plus Turtle for UKG, Champak, Balvihar, Gokulam, Primary Plus Junior, Thinkling, Highlight Genies, Brainfeed Junior, Brainfeed Primary, Tote, Dimdima. Now, general topic mix magazines for middle age kids in India: Time for Kids, Brain Feed High, Winspire, Brain Feed Primary, Reader's Digest, Hoot, Primary Plus Young Minds, Comic Sense, Primary Plus Next Step. Now, General Knowledge Social Issues magazine for kids and teenagers in India: Knowledge Quest, Consumer Voice, Kurukshetra, New India Samachar, Scholastic News, Tell Me Why, and others. Then there is Current Affairs magazines, academic magazines that support in academic studies, Environment and Nature magazines, Science magazines, Hindi magazines for middle grades and above, Sanskrit magazines, computer IT magazines for children, psychology and wellness magazines for teenagers and teachers, sports magazines, higher education and career guidance magazines for teenagers and teachers. Apart from this, there are international children's magazines. Children's magazines are different from journals. Now, magazines and journals are two different types of categories by themselves. Magazines are having simple language and are for casual reading, and the readers for magazines is the general public of all age groups. And in magazines, there are the children's magazines genre, which is different from the general purpose magazines, because the children's magazine cater to the children audience, and the content is specially prepared for the interest of the readers. Now, in general magazine category, there are topical magazines like for health and fitness, yoga, computer, etc. So, magazines are published at regular intervals, and they can be weekly, fortnightly, monthly, or bi monthly. Journals, on the other hand, are academic and technical. They are research based articles, and they are peer reviewed by the scholar community. Means before publishing, the articles are sent to the other scholars in the field, and they review the articles, and when they say it is good enough, then those articles are published in the journals. So these journals are academic and technical based, and they are meant for scholars and researchers only. Journals are research based and technical, so they are published yearly, half yearly, quarterly, bi monthly, or monthly. Now, these journals are read by students of higher education, scholars, researchers, PhD students, academic people who have academic interest. They may be teachers, professors, lecturers, or any person who is interested in finding more about these topics at an academic research level. So it takes time for these articles to be written, peer reviewed, and then published. So they are not published monthly. Mostly journals are published bi monthly, quarterly, half yearly, or yearly. Now, how can children's magazines support literacy? So, since we are focusing on children's magazine, let's find out more about how we can support literacy with children's magazines. So, children's magazines have recreational articles and short stories. So, if we see the category of short stories in children's magazines, we can use them to teach and identify story elements. So, you can ask the children to identify the characters, setting, problem, and solution. Finding a story map in the story. What's the map means what happens at the beginning, middle, and end. Who are the characters? What is the setting? What's the problem? What's the solution? What is the sequence of events? What's the main idea of the story? And summarize the story. Characterization means studying the character, how the character develops, what are the qualities of the each of the character in the story, and predicting events in the story, what's going to happen next, and how they would have given an ending to the story rather than what the author has given. So, these are the activities that you can conduct using stories from children's magazines. Then you can also teach media literacy. This is a great activity of teaching media literacy using magazines and newspapers, because a lot of news articles also come in some children's magazines. Small snippets of current affairs can come. So, this will help the kids to think critically when they consume information through the media. Especially the middle graders have certain magazines where they get current affairs news. So, with media literacy, kids will learn to identify and find answers for the following different types of media and their messages. Is the news gossip or fake? Identify what is the author's credibility? What are the author's purpose and intent? How does the media influence the way we think and act? Is the media message a fact or opinion? So, in any current affairs magazine meant for middle graders and teenagers, you can ask them what are the different types of media and what are the messages that they convey. Is it an advertisement? Is it a brochure? Is it a news reporting article? Or is it an analysis? Is it an editorial article giving opinions? Or is it a factual reportage? Then, is the news gossip or fake? So you can research the same news on different sources and find, is the news matching with other sources? Is there a television coverage, live coverage, or any report of on the television? Is there a print report of the same news article? And is there a discussion of experts, or what are the variety of news coverage? So from that you will come to know if it's a gossip or it's a fake uh, article. Compare the dates, the events, and what other events took place at the same time. Then identify who is the author. So if it's a real piece of information, the author's name should be there. What is the author's credibility? Is the author credible to give that piece of information? Is he an expert in that field? What is the author's purpose and intent? What does the author want to do? What does the author want to achieve? What is the intention? Is it to inform, entertain, or educate? Then how does the media influence the way we think and act? Is the media message trying to influence the way you are thinking? Is it persuasive, trying to change the way you are perceiving something and making you do something, taking a call to action? Or is it just entertaining you, or giving you some educational information? And how is it influencing your perception and your knowledge and information? So, is the media message a fact or an opinion? Is it a fact? Has it really happened? Is it factual, or is it just an opinion of the author? So, these topics you can research using children's magazines. Now, using children's magazine to develop critical thinking skills in children. So, children have various ways of learning. They have style of learning. So, it can be spatial learning. It can be a kinesthetic learning by doing things, by listening, by speaking, by working alone, studying alone, or with a group. So, a children's magazine can be used for all of these digital versions or print versions, and you can have discussions and debates based on certain articles from children's magazines or current affairs magazines for teenagers. Now, how to use children's magazines in the classroom? There are several magazines in the list given above. Many are specially children's magazines, while others are for middle graders and higher graders. Magazines are used in classrooms to teach media literacy, support comprehension, creative thinking, and problem solving. Art projects, crafts, puzzles, jokes, non-fiction snippets, etc. are interactive and support all-round education. A document camera like this can capture visuals of magazines projected on a whiteboard for the entire classroom of kids. In the 21st century, the use of these document cameras can help in delivering engaging and clear instruction. They are easy to use and facilitate the teaching learning process. Now, what are the activities using children's magazines? The articles in a children's magazine can be a springboard for further research and various activities. Like you can discuss festivals and related stories around festivals. Poems from magazine could be an inspiration for composing verses. Read aloud stories from the magazines and discuss the story elements. Find information about people who made a difference to society and talk about what they liked. Create a topical display board using ideas from magazines. Projects like rearranging the magazine features for a better reading experience. Brainstorm and create new feature segment for a children's magazine. Create a new logo for a magazine. Peers or reading buddies club together to complete activities like creating a sales copy for their favorite magazine. This means that creating an advertisement which is meant for selling the children's magazine. So, how will a group of children come together and create an advertisement for their favorite children's magazine? Find the magazine comic strip and get inspired from it and create your own comic strip and discuss it. Or discuss the message in a comic strip, and that will be a lesson for them. Discuss which are the genres in the magazine and how did they identify different genres in the magazine. Science experiments in magazines give the lead for new projects. So, presentations, debates, and surveys can be created from uh, children's magazines. You can get inspired for the topics from children's magazine. For example, if there is an article on rainwater harvesting in a magazine, so you can study the how rainwater harvesting works, survey rainwater harvesting in your nearby locality, which colonies or which complexes, apartments have rainwater harvesting and how they executed it. Then have a presentation of that survey, and you can also have debates on different topics for and against something. So this way, it can be a springboard. The articles in a magazine can be a springboard for various activities. And you can use magazines to teach media literacy. We discussed what is media literacy, so you can Google further on it and find out. Moreover, there are articles on media literacy on happyyoungreaders.com, so you could read that as well. Then, magazine reading can improve vocabulary and creative writing. So, most children's magazine have short stories and snippets about various personalities, and you can find out different uh, famous personalities, information, and discuss it. Magazine features inform, describe, persuade, or entertain the young readers. Reading magazines regularly acquaints children with various genres, and they learn vocabulary through the humor, suspense, and fantasy articles in a children's magazine. They learn the usage of words involving context. What is the context in which certain words are used, and what is the meaning of those words? Moreover, children also come to know which are the different genres and how to identify them. Genres like humor, suspense, fantasy. So, how a humor story or an article is presented? How is suspense shown in a story? What is fantasy? And children learn to communicate using these words and this style of presentation when they are avid readers. So authors use various writing style and unique methods to create suspense, mystery, humor, or expository text to keep the readers hooked. Children involuntarily pick up this vocabulary and can identify writing style with robust reading habits. Reading outside syllabus for recreation and gaining new information gives a wider perspective and big picture of life. You can inspire children to write poetry inspired by poems in magazines. Create unique stories using images from old magazine issues or newspapers. Inspired by magazine images, create a new comic strip storyboard with captions. Write letters, short stories, artwork, jokes, poetry, and creative comic strip. Submit them to the magazine editor. Few magazine websites have additional resources that are useful for children, parents, and teachers as well. Subscribe to magazine blog articles. They act as a springboard for activities, lessons, and projects. Use children's magazine as a classroom management technique. So use the children's magazine as a reward if the children have finished their work fast or if they have been disciplined. So children get to read their favorite children's magazine as a reward. Now, magazines can bring excitement and renewed vigor in the spirit of inquiry and research. Children get excited about topics and parents can't ask for more. Magazines turn beginner readers into avid readers. Magazines support reading out of the syllabus. Children read magazines and storybooks for the love of reading. They keep going back to reading children's magazines because they are interesting and fun to read. Young learners grow up to become avid readers by reading picture books, early reader books, children's magazines, and chapter books. Kids develop the habit of reading by only when they get easy access to children's magazine and books of their reading level and interest. Now, how do reading magazine de-stress children? Do you think kids feel happy when they read magazines? It's because magazines have a mix of multi-genre format, interactive content, child-friendly appealing presentation, a lot of visual aids, and children's magazine break the routine of homework and assignments. There's a sense of community with peers when they read children's magazine. There's no pressure to study for grades. A choice to read or skim. Children get a choice what to read and what to skim. Informal reading for information makes them familiar with a variety of topics in a short span of time. And children get to read contemporary relevant articles of high interest. So it is no wonder that children enjoy reading magazines. Reading magazines aids holistic development. Through magazines, kids come to know what is happening in the outside world. Regular newspapers don't always have news articles that are fit for children to read. Children's magazine convey news in a gentler way, and educational and recreational content in children's magazine are specially designed for children and teenagers. Rainwater harvesting, reducing carbon footprint, and similar relevant topics in magazines like Down to Earth make readers aware of latest statistics or happenings. Reading these articles enrich the children's perspective and knowledge. Magazines are not a waste of time. They are essential to the entire juvenile community. Magazines are not frivolous or unnecessary. They are an integral part of children's growing up years and make children's life richer. Children's magazine greatly benefit kids and teenagers. The several activities listed in this article will enrich the reading experience of children. Are you thinking of a magazine subscription? Interest, age, and reading level are important factors to consider for choosing magazines for children. Magazines are meant to make children happy. And when children receive the print magazines by post with their name on the envelope, children feel very happy. They feel like grown ups, just like how their parents receive mail by post. Children also receive their magazine by post. It's a magazine copy which they own, and they enjoy and feel very proud of their children's magazine. They go back to reading it again and again, solve something from the magazine. Digital editions of children's magazine are also a great option to consider. I hope you found this video useful, and if you are looking for any children's magazine subscription, then this article, list of Indian magazines for teenagers and children's reading for different age groups and different categories. Thank you.